it.
The presidency is not very excited that 6 judges, at least, were asked to resume by the NJC. And so, explanations are being offered by the presidency. The special assistant to the president on prosecution, Koi, has said that there were plans to further the prosecution of these judges, or some of them, before the NJC swiftly recommended and actually asked them to go back to the court to continue sitting. Because this is one that will join the flow from the look at the fight against corruption, which took the center stage yesterday, as those who have the responsibility to advise and profile solutions to the issue of corruption were also debating the issue. Now we have the acting president speaking on it, and a lot of persons talking on how the institutions, like the bank, for instance, is helping to shield and take care of funds that are emanating from corruption. We'll be taking all of them in a whole. The political space witnessed an association being unveiled yesterday. It's one of those, I believe, the Independent National Electoral Commission has also announced will be under consideration in the next couple of days or weeks. Over 90 of them that have applied for the status of political parties. So APDA is one of those group, and we believe that was why they are unveiling yesterday. We'll be talking about parties emergence, the evolution of political parties structure in Nigeria, and talk about the need, if indeed there is any ideology attached to these parties, or it is just a matter of the same old faces, the same old ideas, the same people who are uncomfortable under a particular circumstance that go around to say they are now forming themselves into a group. We also begin to take a look at some of the benefits of having plural political groupings in Nigeria, and we have some of our guests who will be helping us to answer to some of the questions we will be asking. My name is Okiri Agbonsuremi. I have my colleagues in-house. I have Mustafa Mohammed on the program. Mustafa, welcome to the political platform.
Thank you.
I also have Uju Eje joining me this morning. Uju, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Hiria.
And Dr. Amechi Anakwe is also right in here.
Thank you, Hiria. I expected the presidency to react yesterday to the directive given by the National Judicial Council that those judges, 6 of them, should indeed resume work this Wednesday. But what the Senior Special Assistant to the President said was that the NJC was aware that the EFCC, not the DSS, was in the process of raising charges against them in court. But the NJC felt otherwise and said, 8 months, no charges. What will hold these people from going to court? And they had support in the MBA and Ajamba Association, which even asked the security agencies to discontinue the investigations. Let's wait and see the charges as they come. But if you ask me, some of the charges preferred against the judges appear to be funny, like that against Ngota. One of the issues they raised against him was that he was trading in palm oil, but that doesn't remove the seriousness, but it tells you that indeed the prosecution was kind of hasty and always in the process of looking for anything just to slam on the judges. If there are cogent and of course verifiable cases, anytime they come, nobody will resist it, will welcome it, and the process of justice will fully be dispensed.
And Adebayo Boduri is joining us. Adebayo Boduri is one of our colleagues here, and he probably has seen more registration of political parties than any of us here. Some even accusing here that he was a member of NEPU. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I think the issue Amishi raised, can look at it from two. Personally, the way I look at it is this. There are two critical issues that the issue has thrown up. The first one is that if it is true, the government has actually filed an appeal against the judgment in favor of Justice Ademola, I think NJC, to me, was hasty. But if it is not true that they have, if they are still thinking of filing and they have not done that, I think for me there is no aberration in what the NJC has done. And the second point is that I think NJC demonstrated one point, which for me is my takeaway, is that they have demonstrated their independence. It's an independent arm of government, and that is the truth. And secondly, is that if you have facts against an individual, there's one of the justices that they said has estates all over across the country. Give us the evidence. What has happened primarily is that there was so much media trial that I don't think we should encourage. So NJC, the judiciary arm of the government, demonstrated the fact that they are independent and they cannot be intimidated.
All right. Let's suspend the discussion and the debate and hear you. Let's hear who is talking to us through politicalplatform at yahoo.com.
Thank you for joining us on the Mail segment. I am Ife Nwanwobi.
And I'm Amaka Okoro. Welcome.
Let's begin with this mail coming from Henry Ewunon, who writes in Abuja, and he writes on the newly launched Advanced People's Democratic Alliance Party, APDA. It reads, yesterday, another finger of a leprous hand, according to the late Bola Ige, was unveiled to the ever-gullible political public. To me, as long as we continue the same practice of having few individuals pool resources to fund a party, those individuals will always have the say, and at the same time, their way. When the sharing formula for their spoils of war gets hijacked by the greed of some of them, Nigeria catches a cold. We would not be deceived again. Nigerians should look out for people who still retain figments of godliness and milk of human kindness, who have excelled in their private lives to elect into offices. But for the empty oratory of the soapbox and razzmatazz of flamboyant wolves who disguise as shepherds, I declare never again would we believe you people. I bind and cast your intrigues, but it shall be well with Nigeria.
And Alex Agbo from Yanya in Abuja writes on the recent comments by Nigeria's Minister of Information on the herdsmen activities. He goes further. Are we to wait for ECOWAS and the African Union to come to Nigeria and take the Fulani marauders from killing Nigerians? I listened to the Minister of Information speaking in a radio station in Abuja that the government has filed a case against the Fulani herdsmen at the ECOWAS and the African Union courts or parliaments, because according to him, there's a subsisting ECOWAS treaty to operate a seamless border across the West African sub-region. Are we to believe that ECOWAS and the African Union are to tell us before we shut our borders and chase out those killing Nigerians? So, what the minister and indeed the government are saying is that Nigerians would endure being killed in cold blood until ECOWAS and African Union come and take away their killers. Is there something Uncle Lai is not telling us? Is this not the same ECOWAS court whose instruction the government neglected concerning Colonel Dasuki?
Away from that, Emeka Mbai in Abuja writes on the acting president's statement on corruption and economic crime. He says, the acting president, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, recently called for stiffer punishment for corruption-related offences, especially looting of the country's commonwealth. This is a welcome development if actualized, as government, by its disposition in the past, have encouraged stealing of public funds by a mere smack on the wrist through plea bargains. It's so sad that a public servant who steals 3 billion naira and agrees to return a paltry 500 million naira or less is let off the hook to go and enjoy the rest. Rewarding or not punishing crime in high places is the reason people even divert funds and relief materials meant for IDPs in various camps, the latest being the Bakassi IDP camp in Calabar, brought to public notice by Senator Florence Itagiwa. God help us.
And Christy Victor from Cuba in Abuja titles this one as Suffering in the Land. The mail reads, Please, Mr. Ohiria, make out time and attend to this mail. I want to ask, where is the place of the poor in this nation? The poor provides light for themselves by contributing for transformer and its maintenance. They build their roads through community effort. They build their accommodation by themselves. Sometimes the government demolish them without alternative. They build schools for their children. Come to employment, no way, because you have to bring a paper from a senator or commissioner or director, which is not possible because these people are far from the poor. Please, let the government have a change of mind and style of governance. God bless my country, Nigeria.
As I will wrap it up on the mail segment for today, do keep it coming. The Rooted and Change is still political platform at yahoo.com.
Bust it! They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Well, right away, let me just attend to the mail, which a prospective voter for 2019 is asking, where do I go? We have answered this so many times, and we know that the Independent National Electoral Commission officials have also come here to answer that question. I think it's a matter of just walking to the local government headquarters, wherever you are in Nigeria. There's registration going on now as we speak. The INEC offices are open to those who have turned 18 or those who by error of commission or omission didn't register and they don't have permanent voters card to be able to vote. You walk into the INEC offices in the local government headquarters across Nigeria, 774 locations. There you will be able to put your name down, and then you put on in the process of obtaining the permanent voter card so that you can participate. We have encouraged you to do that and do that as fast as possible. We also probably, is there another mail we are responding to?
Exactly, the one that he's talking about, Okiria, please tell us where is the place of the poor man, because the poor people have to, almost everybody now, not just the poor, provide electricity because you have to fuel your generator, you have to roads, community airport, boreholes from community airport. It's just like the several complaints people have been receiving. You receive electricity for less than 10 days in a month, and then the electricity distribution companies will continue charging you. They have refused to give people meters. It's actually illegal. The power ministry is not talking. I don't know where that takes out, but he wants you to answer that.
Of course, I think sometimes there's a problem of, yes, we agree there's a problem of governance, but there's always also a problem of followership. Because when we talk about government not providing employment, government not providing electricity, government not providing
companies not providing electricity,
all the things that we are talking about that government is really, nobody, only very few people actually look inward to ask ourselves, how much participation are we? We are talking about registration now. You see the number, the percentage. In some places we are told, we are told by INEC officials here that in some places, like in Abuja, you get up to only 15% of people coming out to go and vote during elections.
For area council elections.
For area council elections, 15%. Across Nigeria, I don't think the average is up to 50%. Under 50%. People do not participate.
Even national elections don't get to 50%. So local council elections, you talk about 15 to 20.
So when we are asking the government to do something, what is it that we are also doing by ourselves to effect the change in government? We complain that, Goodluck Jonathan was a bad president. Muhammadu Buhari, our president, is a bad president. We say Obasanjo was a bad president. The people who actually make this pronouncement are people who don't even, they sleep in their houses during elections. They don't participate in the processes, and all we do is just to come to election day in Abuja. You will see people are sleeping in their homes, but they actually complain loudest that, look, the government is not working. I'm not saying that we should justify why government should not provide the basic things he has enumerated, but we must also quickly ask ourselves, how much mobilization are the political parties doing to get everybody to participate? How many mobilization are the communities doing? What are we really doing to take hold of the government? The government is for us. We are in charge. How do we take charge, particularly every 4 years, to say this is what we want to do to effect a change? We have given up hope that the people have hijacked the process, and so we don't even have any.
Not talking about voting during elections. The middle class, they sit back in their homes, switch up on their satellite TV stations, then revert to the social media to exchange words with one another, and that's their level of participation. It's actually the downtrodden, the lower rung of the society, the greater majority of them that take the pains of waiting. I'm not saying that people from the other social cadre don't do, but the percentage that come out to vote is less.
Dr. Amechi, if you look at those in the social, the lower rung of the social ladder who participate, I was in Edo during the elections, and one of my uncles told me he collected 4,000 naira. I told you on this program.
Of course.
I mean, they are also mobilized by the politicians who they collect money from. Those who are on the street, on the queue voting, they are there because of the bread and the butter, just little things that come up. When are we going to get to a position of mobilization that everybody in Nigeria will see the presidency as their own responsibility and say, look, all of us will vote. If those who put their name on the voter register, those who didn't come out to vote, if they vote, we'll have the change.
Those that rig elections, they succeed when voter turnout is low. But when you have massive turnout, you see their hands are tied. Their plans will be forward. They won't know how to manipulate because all eyes will be on them. So it will save us a lot of good if people participate actively than passively, rather than be resorting to backseat drivers where they haul insults and raise all manners of complaints to those in leadership positions.
I think Ohiria made a very strong point here when he talked about the motive for coming out to vote. Yes, the lower rung of the ladder comes out, they participate in the voting process, but to what extent are they able to effect a change? Why do they come out? They are mobilized, a lot of them collect money, so the motive is very, very wrong, and that's why they are not able to effect the kind of change that they will need, even in their own circumstances. I think the day we begin to search ourselves, the day we begin to, allow our conscience, or we allow our conscience to come alive, the day that we can begin to yield to the dictates of our conscience in everything that we do as a people in this nation, the change that we need would come. Let's ask ourselves, why am I taking part in that? If I take part in this thing, if I defraud myself, of what use would it be? Because what they end up doing at the end of is defrauding themselves. Until we do that and decide that we will no longer do it, we will no longer defraud ourselves, we'll keep going around.
You will have up to about 1,000 people in a place and you don't get electricity. The distribution, private companies now, they are not owned by government, refuse to give you meters. What you do
but they bring the bills.
They bring the bills. They keep collecting the money. Even the one around Abuja, we learned that they are not even buying enough electricity to distribute. So what neighborhoods can do is to organize groups of consumers, tell these power companies that if you are not bringing meters and you are not giving us electricity less than 10 days in a month, we will not pay you bill. When the money stops coming, they will do it, because what we learned was that even after the privatization, they continue collecting money from the government, and then the populace continue to live in darkness. This is not the kind of privatization that we expected. Of course, government can still reverse it because of the incompetence these companies have shown.
You talked about meters, you kept hammering on having meters. Have you seen the meters? Have you seen the way they race? It's like a 100-meter dash.
I think this perhaps is a wake-up call on the regulatory bodies. For instance, we have the Consumers Protection Council. This is the time for them to really act. Luckily, we have a new head there who has spent most of his time campaigning for rights of the citizens. And I think it is time that now that what he preached when he was not in government, he should be able to carry them. He should be able to do it now.
It's always a difficult one. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the political parties, and they will have APDA coming on yesterday as a political association, one of those seeking to be registered. We have two of the spokespersons and mobilizers in the studio. We'll be asking them the pertinent questions. Please stay with us. Don't go away.
Busted.
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Thank you so much, and let's do a general description of the situation in Nigeria with the political parties registration. A lot of things have happened across Nigeria, and we have so many political parties coming and going. There are some that even came in recent times that we do not even hear about. They are still on the list of political parties. Some still coming up, and the crisis inside the PDP is making some other politicians, many politicians, to begin to think of how to get themselves organized ahead of 2019. Is that where the APDA is coming from? I have Asandia Hogan, the National Public Secretary of APDA. Thank you very much for joining me on the program.
Thank you.
And I also have Jirintwa Goit, is the Deputy National Women Mobilizer. I like that when we mobilize our women. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having us here.
Many people, when you were doing the unveiling yesterday, many people said it's the same thing. There is no difference. What is the difference between APDA, PDP, APC, and all the other parties that we have? Is there any difference?
We do have an ideology. Our ideology is curbing inequality and curbing oppression.
Is that not the same thing with APC? Is that not what the APC told us?
I'm coming.
Okay, go on.
Okay. We also have 30% in our constitution. It is not a promise. It's not wishy-washy. It's not a campaign slogan. We have 30% in our constitution for women. We have 25%.
When you say 30%, 20% of what?
30%
of
positions will go to women.
Is it in government if they get to power, or
in our party, when we get to power, all through?
Okay.
So 25% goes to the youth, which is 18 to 35. Our youth is not over 35. And we have disability, and then we have 5% for people living with disabilities. It's never been done in the history of Nigeria before.
We have had you have had the youth age defined in Nigeria in some political parties. And we had 50 years old becoming. Is there any definition of who is youth in your party?
Which is why I defined it. I said 18 to 35.
18 to 35.
Nothing above 35 is considered youth in our party.
You're chasing all the elderly men away?
No, we're not chasing them away. No, we're not chasing them away. You have your positions, but we're making sure that the people that have the majority and the people that come out to vote the most in Nigeria right now, the votable age, which is between 18 to 35, we have over 60% of that. So if you're not catering to those people that actually do vote you, and you're just giving wishy-washy promises, and when you get into government or when you're doing your national working committees, you don't include them in it. It doesn't make any sense.
Just before my colleagues ask you some questions or make contributions, I also want to ask you. Many of the listeners out there want to ask. Okay. You are angry members of the PDP?
No.
You need to explain that, because
no, we're not.
If we have the big shots people have mentioned, like Alego Dokbesi, because somebody mentioned his name during the unveiling yesterday, we also saw we also saw some faces. Are you saying that these are people who were in PDP who have not even told us they are not in PDP anymore?
These are Nigerian citizens who have a right of association with political parties, and we have a right to form parties and be in any party of our choice. So we cannot dictate to people. If people see our ideology and they like it, what we want is people to come to us. And if these people are coming to us, we're going to have we have open arms.
Let me ask you a question on this issue of youth. We have a problem in Nigeria. And the problem has to do that the political process, apart from the First Republic, where we have leadership recruitment process, a mentoring process, the Second Republic, the aborted Fourth Republic, we don't have that. This youth we are giving opportunity to. This youth we are giving opportunity to.
Maybe we should ask the Deputy
What is the
National
process
Women
of
Mobilizer
assessing
to
their
answer that
capacity and competence in holding key positions?
Let us ask the Deputy National Women Mobilizer to answer that question.
You see, young people have over the years demonstrated capacity, joining political parties, participating in the processes that leads up to elections. They've come forth, they've shown themselves, and APDA is one party that has availed itself, has given that position for young people to come up. Now, ignorance, they say, it's a problem in itself. A lot of young people might not really have access to, have not had the opportunities in other parties. These parties are availing to them to come forth, prove yourself capable of holding any position you feel you are capable of doing, and the party will give you that position. It is enshrined in our constitution. This is one thing that makes this party different from others.
Now,
so afterwards, you could take the party to court to challenge it, that you see this, it says one thing, and you see another.
The last question I want to ask now, I would just 60 seconds or 30 seconds to answer the question. Funding.
Funding comes from members.
Yeah, because that's where somebody puts the big money down and dictates all the. How is APDA hoping to cross this bridge of funding?
Our members fund the party.
Yeah, we contribute how much?
5,000. 5,000 as
our registration.
5,000 for registration and 3,000 for annual fees, and that's done by every single member.
And you think you have 5,000 for registration and how much for annual fees? That will enable you mobilize and do all that, the campaign, pay for bills.
You're allowed.
Some persons will bring in money to support you.
You're allowed to donate more. I can donate more if I want to.
So you have not actually crossed the Rubicon of party funding, which is actually a problem, because
crowdfunding.
Those who hijack APC, PDP, those who have hijacked all the political parties are the governors who come in, the ministers who come in with funds, and they indeed come. But you have not told Nigerians now how you are going to come.
Interestingly, it's going to be cumbersome for any money bag to hijack this party, because from party positions through to the presidential positions, it's going to be through direct primaries. So you have to go sell yourself, and then people will queue behind you.
They'll use money to sell them.
All
right. Asandia Hoga, National Public Secretary, speaking succinctly and making it very clear, and joined by Jerintoa Goit, Deputy National Women Mobilizer. Thank you so much, ladies. I'm happy that it's the ladies that are leading.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
And I'm here representing the youth.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tell them again. We'll come back on the program tomorrow. We'll have more for you on the program. Okiri Agbonsuremi here. Do have a wonderful day.
Bust it.